so we'll just fix it. I think Almaden's the busier street, don't you? That's where I put them both down there. Yeah.
Michelle Dauber is the head of the recall campaign. She's a law professor at Stanford and a personal friend of the woman Brock Turner attacked.
So this part of the campaign, which sort of looks like more like a regular traditional campaign right now. You're walking around, you're knocking on doors. How long has that part been going on?
Oh, we've been doing this basically the whole time. We had to collect over 58,000 signatures, and we ended up collecting over 95,000, which we did mostly by knocking on doors.
And I want to give a big shout out to the crowd with Michelle Dauber for helping to recall Judge Persky. Thank you very much, Michelle, and everyone you brought out to help out today.
Team Recall! Woo!
Dauber is in charge of a very serious campaign operation she launched 2 years ago. More than $1 million raised and spent. Dozens of volunteers.
Judges in California are elected, and they are accountable to the people they serve. The only thing that is a little different about a recall is that Judge Persky was up for re-election in 2022, and by using the petition, we moved the date up to 2018.
Essentially, Dauber's been the keeper of the outrage, sparked all across the country after the Turner sentence.
Earlier this morning, Brock Turner was released from jail after only 3 months.
Although a lot of lawyers across the country have backed her, in Santa Clara County, she's facing down the bulk of the legal establishment. They don't agree with the recall effort, and that includes the district attorney whose office prosecuted Turner in the first place.
Is Judge Persky a good judge?
He's a good judge, and he's reflective of the judges that we have.
But he made a
in our
mistake
county.
in this case, but
Absolutely.
he's a good judge.
Absolutely. While on the one hand, I was angry and sad, I wasn't surprised. And the reason I wasn't surprised is I've been a prosecutor here for more than 20 years. What this judge did in the case is something that most of the judges on our bench would have done, and what most judges in California would have done before the law was changed.
Here's what Rosen means. At the time of the Turner case, there were state laws and sentencing rules that pushed judges to give first-time offenders like Turner lenient sentences. So Rosen championed a new state law. It forces all judges to give defendants convicted of the same crimes Turner was at least 3 years in state prison, also known as a mandatory minimum sentence.
Judicial independence is something that's central to our society. Whatever the issue is you have in front of the judge, you want that judge to look at you and treat you as an individual and not think about the ballot box or the judge's career or what's going to happen. And my concern about the recall is that judges will think to themselves, well, how's this going to play in public opinion?
The weekend before the election, both sides were campaigning. We reached out to Persky, but he didn't get back to us. Dauber's volunteers were blasting texts to thousands of people who already promised to vote for the recall. Their concern is low turnout.
I think that the legal profession has definitely linked arms with Judge Persky against the recall, but ordinary voters strongly support this recall and feel as they did in 2016. The statement that was essentially made by the passage of that mandatory minimum was, Judge Persky has screwed up so badly and so abused his discretion that we need to pass a law to make sure that no other judge can ever do this again. To me, that's an independent reason to recall him.
The reality here is that it's hard to find anyone who thinks the Brock Turner sentence was the right punishment. What you have now are people using the political system to call bullshit on the judicial one.
Your opponents think you're going to win. And what
Good to know.
And what they're worried about is that this is going to set a precedent that judges are just going to throw the book at everybody so they don't get recalled.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to do?
I think that it's going to send a message that sexual violence and the treatment of women in the criminal justice system has to be addressed.